Oh man, you need to hear what Jeremy Fowler said today about the Eagles firing Brian Johnson, finally, and the dysfunction, though, brewing from the Birds' coaching staff ranks. Also, Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman, they're finally going to speak to the press tomorrow and officially confirm the return of the Eagles head coach. I know, and I just cannot believe this new report on Jalen Hurts where teammates apparently were quoted calling him a jerk and unapproachable, and the Birds have finally began their defensive coordinator search with a name I absolutely love for one specific reason. I'm Thomas Mott. This is the Thomas Mott Show. All right, there's a lot going on. Let's start with the confirmation of a joint Nick Sirianni-Howie Roseman press conference that will happen tomorrow afternoon. Now, this isn't anything new. Sirianni and Roseman have often done joint press conferences from time to time, whether it's post-draft or preseason or postseason. But with questions hovering over the security of the head coach's job, this press conference will all but guarantee the confirmation that Sirianni is officially coming back and will not be fired despite the Eagles' epic, horrific, and terrible collapse of the final month and a half of the season. Now, also during this press conference, they will officially announce that offensive coordinator Brian Johnson is not coming back, which was already reported last night by Derek Gunn. But Jeff McClain did confirm today that Nick Sirianni will have to replace both his OC and DC, and also Colts offensive coordinator Jim Bob Cooter, who was previously mentioned as a possibility on my show yesterday, won't be among the top candidates, I'm being told. All right, so that confirms Brian Johnson is gone, thank goodness, but it also confirms that Jim Bob Cooter will be out as the possible OC, despite the fact that, again, yesterday he was linked to being the Eagles' OC. Again, a lot of varying reports around Philadelphia the next couple of days and weeks. Okay, before we hear from Jeremy Fowler about the Eagles' internal coaching dysfunction, which is really crazy, we got to at least acknowledge that yesterday Philadelphia did start their defensive coordinator search by beginning their interview process via Zoom, beginning with former Commander and Panther head coach Ron Rivera. Now, Rivera is another one of these aging former head coaches who would probably not jump ship and run at the first open job if he was successful in Philadelphia next year in 2025, but his results as a defensive head coach have been kind of mixed the past couple of years. However, when he was an official defensive coordinator many years ago from 2008 to 2010, his defenses, they were absolutely top shelf. Now, Philly also Zoom interviewed former Jags defensive coordinator Mike Caldwell yesterday, who was actually a former Eagles linebacker back in the late 1990s and a coach on Andy Reid's staff, and kind of had the Jaguars defense the past couple of years in the middle of the pack. Personally, Ron Rivera, along with Wink Martindale, are the leaders in the clubhouse for me when it comes to replacing Desai, but I'm curious where you guys are at on who you want as the next Eagles DC. Now, before we get back to the Eagles news, you see this? This is actually my personal razor I use every single day that I got from the Harry's website like almost 2 years ago. So when Harry's reached out to sponsor today's video, I figured, you know what? I've had this thing for over 2 years. Let's go ahead and upgrade my razor. What's crazy is that Harry's products are in like every major retail store. So the next time I hopped in my car to hit up Kroger for my weekly grocery run, I swung by the shaving section and picked up some Harry's foaming shave gel, as well as the 5-blade razor with the Chrome Edition handle. And I'll be honest, this thing has been absolutely incredible. Like, I didn't realize how good a brand new razor would actually be just because I've been using the same one for so long. And they have a bevy of other products to help make your shave as easy and smooth as possible, whether you're like me and you're on camera every single day talking about the Philadelphia Eagles and need to look your best, or you just want to upgrade your overall shaving experience with a really good company that has absolutely incredible products. Although don't just take my word for it, go to your bathroom, find your old razor, realize how long you've probably had the darn thing, throw it out just like I did, and pick yourself up a brand new Harry's razor at a grocery store that's probably right by your house. Now, the big story of the day was what Jeremy Fowler told 97.5 The Fanatic just this morning, where he explained that the firing of Brian Johnson and the overall coaching dysfunction inside the organization is reaching a boiling point, and also hinted that the Eagles' offensive coordinator job, which is now open, might not be that highly coveted around the league.
Some weird vibes out of there. I just don't know that everybody on the staff is overly happy about all that's gone down, especially with Brian Johnson, who's sort of caught in the middle. And they're going to go from there. But certainly the OC search is now on. You know, Sirianni has pretty heavy influence on the game plan every week and, you know, the offense. So I think there was a lot going on. You know, the quarterback was beat up, not playing great. You know, there just wasn't a lot of synergy there on offense with collectively with everybody. Well, potentially. And we'll see what other staff changes are made. I think there are people on the staff that might not want to be there, you know, because of some of the dysfunction that's gone on in the last few months. So I'm curious to see the finality of the staff. It could go beyond just a couple of coordinators at this point. I just don't know if that was all on Brian Johnson, who really didn't get to put his full signature on it. You know, I do think you know, the heavy influence of Nick Sirianni, and for whatever reason, the cohesion with Jalen Hurts and the coaches, if that wasn't all up to par, then, you know, it's kind of hard to call the plays, to get the sequencing right, to get really the rhythm you need to have every week to have everybody and all 11 players on the same page. Yeah, I think it's still an attractive job on both coordinator accounts. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Now, the OC job right now, that's I wouldn't say that's the easiest job, but you're still signing up for A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts, Dallas Goedert,
right.
Devontae Smith, a great offensive line.
Gosh, the dysfunction that continues to get hinted at inside Philadelphia makes me just so darn surprised they want to keep Nick Sirianni. Now, whether it's Sirianni's fault or not, he's the head coach. He should be in charge of these things. He should not be allowing crazy dysfunction, and yet here we are. And now this new idea that potential offensive coordinator candidates might not want to come to Philadelphia, even though there's Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, and work under Sirianni because he's so set in his ways, makes me, again, wonder, why the hell is Nick Sirianni coming back? Why doesn't he just call plays and prove to everybody that he's actually an offensive genius? It's just crazy to me that we're basically just going to have to sit back and hope that Sirianni is, in fact, a competent head coach, despite what all these reports are telling us, and that he can get the team back to their winning ways, or else we're just going to have another season where they might look good due to talent, but in the end, fold and crumble like they did the past month and a half. Now, this next report, I'm very hesitant to give the light of day to, because it's on Jalen Hurts, and it's not good, but it at least needs to be thrown out there that way you guys are aware of what's going on, because there's a brand new Bleeding Green Nation report from a Joseph Santoliquinto, I think is how you say his last name, sorry if I butchered that, who said that the complete collapse of Philadelphia in this really interesting article was a lot on the shoulders of Jalen Hurts. Listen to this, quote, "Sources with and around the team say Jalen Hurts changed since signing the big $255 million contract extension. His accessibility to media, fans, teammates had been limited. He became less accessible this season, according to numerous sources. There are two versions of Jalen Hurts, the one that public sees and the one behind closed doors at the NovaCare complex that the Eagles protect, as they try to do with Carson Wentz. The public, well, some of the fan base sees a leader, his teammates may not. Sources close to and around the team say Hurts should have been a better leader and is capable of being a better leader. He shuts himself off from others and he defers to A.J. Brown, who has a great reputation among his teammates as a family guy and will hold himself and his teammates accountable." Okay, just wait, it gets much worse if it's actually true. One source on the team described Hurts as a good dude who sometimes does not realize the times he's acting like a prima donna blank. We'll use the word jerk. Multiple sources close to and inside the Eagles confirm this. Teammates wanted to include him in functions. Hurts would wave them off. He's been described as detached, stoic, isolated, unapproachable. Again, I'm not greenlighting this or saying it's 100% true. I don't have sources inside the Eagles locker room, though. But it goes to the overall theme of today's show, and that is big-time dysfunction. Even if only 10% of this is actually true, the Birds are going to have some serious issues going forward. Now, Hurts has always seemed stoic, seems locked in. We all know that. We kind of actually like it whenever he's been winning. But if that rubs off on his teammates the wrong way, you wonder if that had an effect on the locker room cohesiveness during this 7-game disaster stretch where maybe Hurts' personality rubbed people the wrong way. Now, I don't know. We'll probably never know, but this is something definitely to keep an eye on going forward, even if you're like me and you don't believe this and don't want to believe this after what we went through with number 11 and Carson Wentz. Now, in terms of this report exactly, I like Bleeding Green Nation. I think they do a fantastic job. Most of their writers are very competent and source things out very, very well. But the fact we haven't gotten a lot of agreement on an article like this, at least on Twitter from other beat writers, makes me a little bit hesitant, but we all can at least agree Hurts' personality, at least outward to us, the Eagle fans, does seem to be very stoic. You just wonder what it's like inside the locker room, despite getting glimpses here and there of his relationship with teammates like A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Now, I told you guys, this offseason, it's going to be crazy. There are going to be a lot of reports that we're going to break down. Some are going to be true, some are going to be half true, some are going to be 10% true, some are going to be completely fake. I don't know which ones are actually in either of those categories, but I will cover everything relevant to the Philadelphia Eagles. It's my promise and guarantee to you guys. Be sure to hit that red subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, as we're going to have a full breakdown tomorrow of the Nick Sirianni, Howie Roseman joint press conference, where I'm just praying some of these Homer Eagle beat writers who are going to be at the NovaCare complex at this press conference ask some tough questions. I want to see these guys squirm a little bit and give us some real answers, and we're going to find out if they're actually going to go ahead and do that. I'm Thomas Mott, hanging out on a Tuesday. This has been The Thomas Mott Show.